You know what time of the week it is. It's UFC matchmaking and rankings time. Doing both in one video today. Not too much changed in the rankings, so I just figured I'd loop it in with this so you guys don't get a separate 4-minute video uploaded. We'll put this all together. But we're going to start with the matchmaking. Matchmade pretty much everyone on the main card. Prelims, while I thought they were awesome, great fights, they're all just like entering the UFC. A lot of road to UFC people going to be fighting at the bottom of the rankings, and I just didn't think it would make sense to matchmake them yet, considering that there is just so many other people that probably aren't even in the UFC yet that they can compete with. So I left those out. I didn't want to waste anyone's time. Speaking of not wasting your time, let's get right into it. It's the UFC Macau matchmaking, which was, by the way, one of the best fight nights of the year, if not the best fight night of the year. I had a great time watching this, even though it was super early in the morning. The only other fight night that I can think of right now that like really competed with it in terms of like entertainment, fun, crowd, St. Louis. St. Louis on the Derek Lewis and Rodrigo Nascimento card was sick. But let's just get right into it. Starting with the UFC Macau matchmaking, Petr Yan. Now, Petr Yan called out Merab Dvalishvili for a rematch. Don't hate it. But I will say we saw that fight, and we saw it, within the past year and a half, 2 years. We saw it, I think, in March of, I think it was March of 23. So it has been a year and a half. Listen, they're looking at targeting that fight again for March, so it would be 2 years from that date, and Petr Yan is coming off 2 wins from that over great comp like Song Yadong, great comp, top 10 guy, and then over Davison Figueiredo, another great competitor. Figueiredo with 1 win would have gotten a title shot, so I get Petr Yan's argument, but Merab was too quick to take the fight, and that really makes me feel like he doesn't want to fight Umar, which is making me want to see him fight Umar more. So, I have an idea to find us a great number 1 contender, and no, Sean O Malley is not going to be getting the rematch with Merab. I don't think he deserves it unless he comes off a win. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you because we got a lot of space on the screen. I would love to see Merab take on Umar, and the winner fights the winner of, so the champion at that point in time will fight the winner of Petr Yan, Sean O Malley too. Tell me that this is not a great co-main event of a fight night. A great main event of a fight night in front of a crowd, or, even better, great co-main event, 5 rounds on a pay-per-view. This fight needs to be 5 rounds. The first fight was awesome. Great fight. One of the fights of the year was 3 rounds. A lot of people, including myself, thought Petr Yan won that fight. I'd like to see it again, run it back over 5 rounds. 3 rounds is too short for these guys, and these guys are great 5-round competitors, especially Petr Yan. I'd love to see this in 5 rounds. Co-main event of a pay-per-view at UFC 313 at the end of February, early March. Would love to see that happen. Make this the main event. I think the main event of the Saudi card on February 15th is going to be Izzy versus Imavov. If that falls through, make this the main event. I think Petr Yan could turn around. But even if he wants to take some time, we can look at the March pay-per-view. I know actually O'Malley's not going to be back until March, so now that I'm thinking about it, we look at the March pay-per-view and you make this the co-main event with a Merab versus Umar fight as the headliner, or you have a bigger headliner like an Aspinall-Jones fight or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of different options, but if you make this the co-main event, and Merab versus Umar is not going to happen in March, I feel like, because of Ramadan. So I would have liked to seen that fight happen sooner. So maybe you do have like a Jones-Aspinall and then this co-mains, even though I do think Jones-Aspinall will end up happening all the way later at International Fight Week. So my other option is, if in January we're probably going to see Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan, in February they're going to Australia, I don't know that we're going to see a title fight on there right now. I'm thinking maybe Strickland versus DDP. Strickland versus DDP main event, Petr Yan versus Sean O Malley 2 is the co-main. You have 2 rematches and incredibly close fights that a lot of people thought the wrong guy won. I think this is the way you do it. 5 rounds, Petr Yan, Sean O Malley 2, number 1 contender for the winner of Merab versus Umar. Make that fight happen. I think it's a great way to go about it. And we move on. Davison Figueiredo. Dude, this guy literally could have gotten a title shot without fighting Petr Yan. I thought he just being 3-0, coming off of a flyweight title run where he had 4 fights in a row for the title against the same guy. And the only reason I really think he's better than Moreno, just think he was getting bored of the same fight all the time. And I think that's why Moreno took a little bit of time off, because he was just bored of fighting, because he just went through 4 fights with the same person, and then Kai Kara France sprinkled in the middle. So I think Davis and Figueiredo should be looking to fight pretty close in the rankings. The other guy that lost recently that's up there is Corey Sandhagen. I think this makes all the sense in the world. If whoever wins this fight gets back into a win streak, has one more win, and then they're looking at the title contention again. So I think Figgy versus Sandhagen is a great fight to make. Listen, Figgy's 36. I don't know how many more fights we're going to see him have, so let's see these big fights that we want to see. And a lot of people are saying, well, now you got all the top 5 matched up with each other. Like, how is anyone going to get in? When you look at the rankings, the guys that are on the outside looking to get in are Song Yadong, coming off a loss. Maybe 2 if the Sandhagen fight was before or after the Ricky Simone fight. So you have Song Yadong coming off a loss to Petr Yan. He shouldn't be just jumped up. Cheeto Vera coming off a loss to Figueiredo. He shouldn't be jumped up. Rob Font beat Kyler Phillips, who, whoop-de-doo, right? Mario Batista beat Jose Aldo in the worst fashion possible, and it was a robbery, so I wouldn't jump him up. Ayman Zahabi just got in the rankings. Montel Jackson is in the rankings. Hasn't fought anyone inside the rankings, though, yet. Trying to think of some of these other fighters that are up there. Like, you're not going to just give Jose Aldo the fight up. I would love to see Jose Aldo get the fight, and you can put Cejudo in there, but I would really like to see Jose Aldo versus Cejudo, so that's a matchup that you can make there. And you have the people in the bottom 10, bottom 9 of the rankings fight each other to make their way. Whoever comes up with the biggest win, that's the one that gets the jump into the top 5. Or the 2 that come off with the biggest wins gets the jump into the top 5 against the losers of these 2 matchups. So I think that's the way you do it. You go Yan versus O'Malley, 2, 5 rounds, number 1 contender. Figgy versus Sandhagen, main event of a fight night in front of a crowd, 5 rounds. The winner gets a title elimination bout, or number 1 contenders bout. That's how you make the bantamweight division great again. So, Yan Xiaonan. I truly believe Yan Xiaonan is the only actual competition for Zhang Weili in the division. I'm going to be fully transparent in saying that. I think she's the best fighter not named Zhang Weili in the division. So I'd like to see her fight again. But it's not a title fight immediately. Someone else is deserving of a title fight, and it is Virna Jandiroba. That leaves Tatiana Suarez versus Yan Xiaonan. The winner is a rightful number 1 contender against Zhang Weili if Zhang Weili can get past Virna Jandiroba. Virna Jandiroba, while she's not entertaining, not marketable, she's very talented. Her jiu-jitsu's great. She's coming off a good win streak here. She deserves a title shot. We're not just going to sit here and let I get it, dude. Tatiana Suarez is a fucking babe. But why does she get to just sit out for years at a time and then just have one win and immediately go back into the title picture? Have one win, immediately back in the title picture. I just don't know. Fight a number 1 contender to get it. Now you say, like, if she had taken a fight with Zhang Weili, like, with anywhere between UFC 300 and now, makes sense. There's no one else. It makes sense. But now you have Yan Xiaonan coming off another win. You have Virna Jandiroba coming off a big win. I mean, this is the fight to make. The winner of this is the number 1 contender for whatever Zhang Weili decides to do next. So I think Yan Xiaonan, Tatiana Suarez is the fight to make. The UFC will probably make this a 5-round main event, but I think if you did this on a fight night, feature fight, co-main, I'm cool with it. Yan Xiaonan's a very fun fighter to watch. Tatiana Suarez is Tatiana Suarez. Like, she's a babe. She's going to sell tickets. I think this is the fight to make. Argue with a wall. Like, I don't fucking know what to tell you. Moving on, Tabitha Ricci, also babe. No, it's not Callum Walsh she's taking on next. Listen, she lost so decisively and just didn't look good at all against Yan Xiaonan. Prior to that, she has 2 robbery victories over Tisha Pennington and Angela Hill. The Angela Hill one was a little bit closer. Before that, I think she had a win over Jillian Robertson and then had another loss to Lupi Godinez, where it went to a split for some reason, even though Lupi clearly won. I'm looking at everyone, I'm like, Tabitha Ricci's fought a lot of people in the top, but let's give her Marina Rodriguez. She hasn't fought yet. Both are coming off losses. I'd like to see this scrap happen at some point. So Tabitha Ricci, Marina Rodriguez, striker versus kind of a grappler, I guess. I don't really know what to call Tabitha Ricci because she misses most of her punches, so she's not really a boxer. She doesn't blast kicks well. She's not a kickboxer or a Muay Thai fighter. She can't get takedowns, so she's not a wrestler. She has some submissions when she gets to the ground, but we never see her on the ground because she can't get it to the ground, so I don't really know what to call her other than Bay. I really don't. So let's just do Tabitha Ricci, Marina Rodriguez. Both of these fights I'm cool with doing around the same time. Let's look at April. Next time we go to that Eastern Hemisphere. Eastern Hemisphere, I guess, for Yan Xiaonan. This one, you can look at a fight night in April. They're probably going to put it on the main card. Please don't, but I know what Dana's going to do. He will. It is what it is. We're going to move on. Muslim Salikov had a win. Not matchmaking Song Kanan because he came off the loss and it did not look good. Muslim Salikov, 6 spinning back kick. Listen, this guy's not coming off a win against Ponzinibbio and Song Kanan and getting a jump in the rankings. Let's give him a fight that, and I was thinking, I'm like, who is this guy not fought yet? Because he's been in the UFC for so long. And is there any up-and-coming prospects that we want to go up against Muslim Salikov, or are they already above him? Brian Battle and Randy Brown are already fighting each other, so the winner of that's already getting a jolt up. If Battle loses, I don't mind the Battle matchup. But Pratis is already up there. Michael Morales is already up there. You can look at a Jake Matthews, kinda, but I'd rather just see two guys that have been in the sport forever. You got a couple 40-year-olds fighting each other that haven't fought each other yet. Fuck it. The winner gets to be a gatekeeper. The loser probably retires. Honestly. Muslim Salikov, Neil Magny. This is the fight to make. This screams featured fight of a card in Canada. For some reason, this is the next time we go to Canada for a fight night, this is literally going to be a featured fight. I can smell it already. You can do this in Abu Dhabi too. I don't know if Magny's been to Abu Dhabi yet outside of Fight Island when it was COVID, but Muslim Salikov, Neil Magny, you can put this on the prelims or the main card of the... Honestly, in February, I don't mind. Neil Magny's coming off a brutal KO loss to Carlos Pratis, but it's watch him fight Muslim Salikov in February. I don't care. That's a good fight. So, Muslim Salikov, Neil Magny, February, Saudi card. Totally cool with that. It does give Neil Magny 4+ months off. I think 4 months and a week exactly. And then Muslim Salikov took 0 damage, so I'm sure he's willing to turn around, especially being closer to the Eastern Hemisphere for himself. I was debating if I wanted to put Gabby Fernandez in here, but I did because she finished the elite of the elite blue chip prospect. She won by finish, got a knockdown, and then a submission over Kong Wang. So, I'm going to put her in here. That is the most impressive win of an unranked flyweight that you're going to possibly have. So I say get her into the rankings. Ariana Lipski's ranked 14th. Gabby Fernandez is coming off a win against Kong Wang. Make it happen. Prelims. Early prelims of a pay-per-view would be sick. Early, first fight of the night. Yeah, this fight can happen. I don't care when. Just please don't put it on the main card of a pay-per-view. I really don't want to see that. Moving on, the Black Jag, Carlos Ulberg, made a call out. I say let's oblige. Carlos Ulberg, Khalil Rountree's a sick fight. Khalil Rountree obviously just came off one of the scraps of the year with Alex Pereira. Took 2 rounds off him and then got finished, obviously, so we lost. Carlos Ulberg had a competitive but good win over high-level competition in Volkan Ozdemir. Called him out on the mic. This makes all the sense in the world. A win for Carlos Ulberg over Khalil Rountree will get him a title shot after Ankalaev. It literally will. He's the perfect guy for it. He's a striker that really just wants to go out there and kickbox. Got some sort of a name because he's coming from that gym. And there's a storyline there. He can avenge Izzy. He can avenge Izzy's life. There's a chance he can avenge Izzy's loss to Alex Pereira and help bring a title back to City Kickboxing. There's a little bit of a storyline you can have there, and it's 2 strikers that are going to go against each other. He's going to stay on the feet the whole time, which is what Alex Pereira and the UFC want. So I think you do Ulberg versus Rountree. If Ulberg wins, he beats a guy that gave Alex Pereira his toughest fight, not named Israel Adesanya, or Dion Blachowicz, which we kind of forget about, but the most danger presented to Alex Pereira was from Khalil Rountree. And if Khalil Rountree wins, he's another guy, he gets a win over a highly ranked guy and gets to put his name back into the conversation for a Jamal Hill fight, a Yuri Prohaska fight who are fighting. So this fight makes all the sense in the world to me. Ulberg got it done quick. Rountree fought on October 5th at UFC 307. So I'm saying I do think that there's a world in which we can see this on the pay-per-view, like the feature fight on the UFC 312 card in Australia. Would love to see it. It's all going to be on if Khalil Rountree can make that turnaround quick enough after taking the beating he took from Alex Pereira. But you got all of October, you have all of November, all of December, all of January, and then about half, that's 4.5 months. Maybe it is enough, maybe not. If not, you put this as the main event of a fight night sometime in March. It makes all the sense in the world. Ulberg, Roundtree, either the pay-per-view of the 312 in Aussie, or main event of a fight night in March. So let's make that happen. Volkan Ozdemir, coming off a loss, was competitive with Carlos Ulberg, though. Still think he's a good fighter. Tell me that the winner of Dom Reyes and Anthony Smith isn't perfect to fight Volkan Ozdemir next. Ozdemir's going to be looking down in the rankings. The winner of that fight's going to go up in the rankings. I truly believe Dom Reyes is going to beat the piss out of Anthony Smith, get a finish, then start working his way up the rankings. Now, Volkan Ozdemir's got nukes in his hands. So I'm nervous for Dominic Reyes in that sense. But I think we got the old Reyes back. I think that after this performance over Anthony Smith, he's carrying momentum. He's excited. He's working his way back up the rankings. Let's get Dominic Reyes back into the title picture, baby. And a win over Volkan Ozdemir is going to put him back in that top 10, give him a fight into the top 5 after that, and then he's back in title contention. Love to see it. Dominic Reyes, Volkan Ozdemir, co-main event of a fight night sometime in April. Would love to see that. Put it on like a main card opener for a pay-per-view in April. Again, 314, 315, something like that. Before I keep rambling on this, because we all know I want to see Dom Reyes do well, because he fucking won against John Jones, which is crazy that people will actually just disregard that and then call Matt Hamill's fight a win for John Jones. Well, it doesn't matter. The rules are dumb. We all know he beat Matt Hamill's ass. Yeah, that's cool. But we also know that Dominic Reyes beat his ass. You can't have it both ways. So it is what it is. We're going to move on to Ming Yang Zhang before I start calling Jones some terrible names again. Wife beater. Ming Yang Zhang continues his first round knockout streak. Let's give him the Ryan Spann fight. He's not ready for a ranked opponent yet, but let's put him in there with someone that's going to go toe-to-toe, and it's going to be absolute fireworks right off the bat. Ming Yang Zhang, Ryan Spann is a sick fight to make. Do this as the prelims of a pay-per-view. Do this as a main card opener for a fight night in front of a crowd. Sick fight. Let's make it happen. Moving on, and I think February, Saudi Arabia seems like this is a perfect main card opener of the fight night, so let's look at something like that. Now, those are the matchmaking snips. So, I am going to transition now to, well, hold on there. I'm not, not the way that a lot of other people in the world are doing it right now. I'm just saying. But we're going to transition together. We're going to transition together to the rankings updates. I realize I need to adjust the screen a little bit here, which I have. Let's get right into light heavyweight. Ming Yang Zhang doesn't jump right in there, but when I look at this, I do see it's going to be Carlos Ulberg, who was ranked 10th in my rankings. He's going to jump up 4 spots, 1 above Khalil Roundtree because he's coming off a win. He's going to 6, jumping Nikita Krylov, who just hasn't been active enough, and Volkan Ozdemir, Khalil Roundtree, and Johnny Walker. I think that's totally deserved. Got a big win over a tough competitor like Volkan Ozdemir. So he's going to go up to the 6th spot. Volkan Ozdemir is going to move 2 spots down, go below Khalil Roundtree, but stay above Nikita Krylov because Nikita Krylov just hasn't been active. I get it. His country is literally at war. I get it. But I'm going to just put him more in a deserving spot in the rankings to as I feel. So I'm going Volkan Ozdemir at 8. Nikita Krylov goes down 1 spot to 9. And Johnny Walker goes down 1 spot to 10 because the wind blew by and he got knocked out from it. So I'm just not going to avoid that in the rankings. It was a windy day and Johnny Walker was just sleeping outside. He should have seen his arms like this. Yeah, Ulberg's going to 6, jumping up 4 spots from 10. Ozdemir down 2 spots. Krylov down 1 spot. Johnny Walker down 1 spot to 10. I like Johnny Walker, guys. I just like making jokes. Tell me it's not, come on. We all know it's a joke, man. Please don't hurt me, Johnny. Moving on. What's another one? Let's go to, we'll save bantamweight for last. Let's go to flyweight. Sorry. I think it's women's flyweight. No, it was strawweight. Strawweight. Yan Xiaonan, I have jumping Tatiana Suarez because she's coming off a win over good competition. Had a very not close fight. She hurt Zhang Wei Li at moments, but she did get TKO'd, submitted, and decisioned all in the same fight. But I think she is the true number one contender. I think outside of Zhang Weili, she is the best fighter in the division. So I moved her up 1, Tatiana Suarez down to 2. Again, activity matters in these rankings, guys. So putting Yan Xiaonan there. I'll actually make a women's pound for pound and just put Yan Xiaonan as like the 4 or the 5 fighter because she fucking deserves it. She's been that good. So yeah, Yan Xiaonan up to the 1 spot, Tatiana Suarez to the 2 spot. And lastly, we're going to men's bantamweight. Don't hate me. I flipped Yan and Umar. Now, this isn't shade against Umar, guys. I actually like Umar. I don't like that he just got gifted a Sandhagen fight, but he went out there and won it. It is what it is. He had a pretty close fight with Sandhagen. Like, yes, he won, in my opinion, 3-2. I thought Sandhagen snuck the first 2 rounds. He didn't dominantly win them by any means. You can give round 2 to Umar, but I do think Sandhagen clearly won round 1. I think round 2, I give the edge to Sandhagen, but Umar did win 3-4-5. So you can give him 48-47 or 49-46, whichever you prefer. 30-25 is kind of blasphemous to me. And I get Sandhagen's really good competition, but so is Figgy. Figgy's coming off a 3-fight win streak at bantamweight after having 4 fights in a row for the title at flyweight, one of the best flyweights of all time. So, Petr Yan went out there and he 50-45'd Davis and Figueiredo. That is more dominant to me. I'm going to move him up to 2. I think him and Umar are such a fucking sick fight. So I'm going to move him up because he had the more impressive win to me over equal difficulty of competition, maybe more. We'll see. I'd love to see Sandhagen and Figueiredo duke it out to see how that goes. But that's going to be the movement that got made here. Petr Yan moved up to 2, and Umar moves down to 3. Not because Umar should be moving down. It's just Petr Yan looked that good. I am a massive Petr Yan fan, so those are the rankings updates as well. I did hope you enjoyed the video. Blended 2 together to make sure that, I didn't force you to have to watch 2 videos. But thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. We got a couple of other interesting videos coming out this week. There's an off week for UFC, so I'm looking to get some different content out. Stay tuned. End of the week. My top 15 GOAT list is coming out. The top 15 fighters of all time. I saw Bedtime MMA do it. One of my favorite YouTubers. Lucas Tracy did it. A lot of people's favorite YouTubers. Suspicious on why he left. You were one of my favorites, Lucas, but there's something going on, and I don't know what it is yet. I'll find out, dude. I'm no guru, but I am kind of a detective, so we'll figure that out. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Keep an eye open for that GOAT list. I know people aren't going to like it, but you know what? It's my GOAT list. There's going to be logic. It's not going to be totally crazy. I promise you. Finally, again, one last time, hit like and subscribe. Please, it means a lot. Thank you.